Okay. So I'm probably gonna have to start over on this one. So I'm just explaining, and the video fucking ran off. I'm so sick of the fucking videos running off on me. I wish I could do a full 1 hour video, but then I'd probably go to an hour and 10 minutes if I did. Okay, Candace is on here talking about sexualization. I got the moon rolling through, so I'm just gonna hit play again while I'm talking about none. She's talking about sexuality, the transgenderism, and all that shit. And when I'm talking to Janice back about as I do this, I know in my weird little conversations that I have with people who don't even know me. Um, Anyways, Candace, if you ever come to these, hopefully you'll hear me out on some of this. So the whole thing was all planned out this way, the transgenderism thing, to knock the populations back down again. It's all controllable programs, is the point I was making before I got cut off. If you go back through the years and you look at it all, you look at pornography. I was talking about in the last video. All right, so pornography. You come through the 20s, 30s, 40s. You had National Geographic and you had Sears catalog. Then you go 70s, 80s, 90s. You went from Playboy magazine to every smut, real nasty hustler. It got nastier, and then you had all kinds of. Then it got right up to Jizz in Your Face magazine and whatever, right? So you got all the pornography getting more. Then all of a sudden VHS came out, DVD came out, pornography got bigger and bigger. Then now you got internet came out, and now pornography is even bigger. Now you know where it's going from here. As I said in the last video, you know it's going over to holographic imagery. It'll be the holograms that you just strap the thing on your face. You're gonna sit in your sex chair, and that's gonna be the way, because it's all about breaking up the family unit. It's excuse me, all about breaking the population down. You can go back and look at those Georgia Guidestones again that I mentioned before. They want 500,000 people on the earth by 2050. So if that's the case and that's their goal, and by 2050 that's how many people they want on the earth, then that's what they're striving for. They can do it in all kinds of different ways. So one of the ways is to all this transgenderism shit. It's all division, is what I want to say. We stole the false creator's work, and we divide ourselves in every which way. So we divide ourselves, like you said, black and white, brown and black, red and white, red and right. So everybody's all divided in colors. Then we divide ourselves again by sexuality. So now with everybody using chemicals, using programming, using the heavy metals and minerals, that because we don't even know what heavy metals and minerals our body needs to be the best bio creatures we can be, and the best electrical species we can be. It's all fucked up. The whole medical industry is all garbage. So we went and did this to ourselves, and then going to turn around now and not be able to look back on what we've done, and not admit it to ourselves, and say, oh, I wonder why so many people nowadays all of a sudden they're gay. Well, that's like asking how come everybody now, there's so many people with autism nowadays. If you ask one person about the autism thing and you have a conversation, they're all zombies. They're really fucking zombies. Because what they'll usually say is, oh, we always had the autism. It's just they didn't have a scale to put on it back when we were kids, right? 50, 40, 30 years ago. They didn't have any scale to really put on it. So they just said, oh, these kids are kind of slow or whatever. Nah, man, that's part of it. Because nowadays you have Asperger's syndrome, you have ADHD, you've got autism, you've got all these different things, which all come with other things such as allergies and infections and bioinfections and all these things that also come with these supposed mental disorders, right? We don't think that that's purposeful. We don't think that we don't want more zombies, and we don't want people that are able to think for themselves. So we have to hit them with the vaccinations at birth. We have to hit them real hard. Matter of fact, we have to hit them so fucking hard that it almost kills them, these babies. We have no rights as parents to our children anymore from birth. It's unbelievable. The family unit has been torn apart so badly, and And to watch and listen to a lot of your videos that you're talking about transgenderism stuff, you got to be able to look back and see that it's always been this way. They've always been pushing it. They've always been putting it in our face. They've always been telling, because they like to tell you the truth while they're lying to you. And the false creator is the one that did the original divide to make male and female. We know the familiarities and the commonness of the male and female body, and we also know the differences, right? Males cannot have babies, males have penis, women have vaginas. We know all this stuff, but we also can look at the clitoris and say, holy shit, that looks like it could be the making of a penis. We also know when we see transgenders, we can see that some of them, not transgenders, but transvestites, will have both. That's hermaphrodite. So hermaphrodite has both male and female sex organs, so we can see where their organs are growing out and everything like that. Take advantage of the science and realize and say, "Holy shit, this is pretty weird that they have both." As far as sex organs go, I can't speak for the rest of their biosystem. In other words, I don't know if they can have babies or not. I don't think so, but maybe. As a matter of fact, I believe they can. I think hermaphrodites are known to have had babies in the past. Yeah. Um, so as far as that goes, that's all right. So for us to be getting pissed off, because I mean I get aggravated myself watching some of these people walk around throwing it in our faces as far as the transgenderism goes, and all this TGBY and TGBD, and I'm Pam and I'm Pat and I'm this and I'm that and all this shit. I mean, yeah, it's driving everybody fucking nuts. But that's also part of the programming to get everybody divided. They want us all to be divided. In reality, we did this to ourselves. In other words, we fed them the food. We fed our children the food, and then wondered why. Think about it. It's full of hormones, right? All the meat that you're fucking selling online here, it's also I don't know. Maybe it is, but even if it is organic, real, true organic, it's still we get screwed coming down the line somewhere because you're on here right now selling your meat packages again, Candace is, and the meat that you're selling, just like all the rest of the meat, it has hit the hormone tables quite a bit. So even if you don't think it has even in their food, even organic cattle and organic animals that we're raising to be organic, they're also eating shit that's been filled with steroids and other chemicals, right? So so it's not good. I mean, we know why girls' boobs are a lot bigger nowadays because they drink milk, right? And they eat dairy. So we know the dairies are all filled up with the hormones, and therefore the girls are getting boobs earlier than they used to back in the 20s, 30s, 40s. They're getting them earlier and they're getting them bigger and all that kind of stuff, right? We can see where the transgenderism and the homosexuality, how it's gotten I won't say worse because then it makes it sound like I'm making fun of them or picking on them. I'm not. I've tried to have this serious conversation with people that I know who are gay and also with family members who are gay. They think that I'm picking on them when I'm going to talk about it. It's not, I'm not ranking on them. I'm just pointing out the simple thing. Okay, you cannot go to any school function you go to. I don't give a fuck what school you are in. I don't care what town you're in. I don't care. It's always going to be the same as the picture I'm about to paint for you. 60% of the staff is going to either be gay, either very heavily gay, in other words, almost to the point of cross-dressing. They look very butchy, the women. Back in my day, back at 25, 30, 40 years ago, in the school system now I'm going to talk about, it was only a few. There was only a few. And for some reason, they ended up being the people that should not have been in those positions. In other words, back 34 years ago, it was all the teachers were straight. They were dating. There was no transgenderism shit going on for the most part. It was very rare that you'd seen somebody cross-dressing. It was like that, right? But every fucking gym teacher, male and female, was always a lesbian and a homosexual. I don't know why. It was just like making all the Catholic priests. Always, it was like part of the deal. If you wanted to be if you felt like the need to be a pedophile, which is different than gay and homosexuality, of course, but if you felt the need to be a pedophile, then what you should do is be a priest. It was just like the thing to do, right? And it's the same thing they did there with the gym teachers. For some reason, all the gym teachers always had to be lesbians. Majority of them. So we did this sexuality thing all the way through of fucking with ourselves. Now you go to the anything today. I guarantee you, man. I guarantee you, it's like this every place I look. I see it this way. Okay, the principals are all going to be butchy lesbian women, right? And they're nice people. Don't get me wrong; they love the kids and they're nice people and everything like that. So don't mistake in what I'm talking about to think that I hate them. I'm just telling you, there's a reason for this. There's a reason for this. We ate ourselves into this position. We drank ourselves into this position. We've medical industried ourselves into this position, and it was all intentional. And to pretend that it was coincidental, accidental in our genes, bullshit. We did it to ourselves, and you can watch it happen in 50 years. Just over 50 years, you can watch how bad we've made it happen. So, the head of the school board is going to be a butchy lesbian. Most of the parents that are going to be in there are going to be either gay or lesbian, all right, homosexual or lesbian. Okay? There's going to be big groups of them, anyways, that are going to be around. We're surrounded by it big time now. It was all purposeful. It's divide. It's divide. They want to bring the families down, less and less of them, less and less people. These are all different ways to divide. Another way to divide is the medical industry. The medical industry, we eat the food that kills us faster than when we, so that's another way to divide. And then we also go to the doctors for every fucking thing. And that's another way to divide because the medical industry is so wrong, so backwards. And I know that I'll get shit for this at some point. I know people are going to say, I can prove it's provable. It's all provable. You can all see it. They ain't no help. They're just as big of liars as everybody else. So it's no use in sticking up for them. Um, let's see what Janice says. Candace is talking. Same U.S. Postal and UPS shipping service. Still talking about something else. All right, I'm gonna play on this. See if I don't get distracted about all this shit I was talking about earlier. Oh, this is the moon that I get the. It's a cloudy night. This particular moon. Um, Yeah. So, anyways, it was all planned. It was all planned. Planned obsolescence, if you want to call it that. Uh, the United States was built with planned obsolescence. That's what we were built as, and this capitalist idea is now getting ready to fold up. It's not going to totally fold up, but the point that I wanted to more or less stress to you throughout this series, and I will keep trying to do this, is that it's not what you think it is, though. It's not the freedom that you think it is. So the idea of it folding up and you fighting for its battles and all this kind of thing, and you're gonna, I know already, you're gonna say to me, "Oh, well, you got the freedom to do these things, and you got all these freedoms." No, we really don't. It's just the way that you look at things. You're not stepping back outside the other boxes that are all around you. So you're inside of a box that's inside of a box that's inside of a box, and you've only gotten out of one or two of these boxes so far. There are hundreds, thousands of these boxes to get back outside of and look at things for what they really are, rather than staying in this one box. Let's see what I can do here. All right, let's see what you got to say here.
And meaninglessness, a PhD in racism and white supremacy, and they're talking about black people, and it never once occurred for them to just listen to me, right? And so you kind of said that you had a similar experience where it's a bizarre thing. It's like you step into a weird world where you realize, is this even about black people anymore, or is this just white people trying to make themselves feel superior to their other white peers?
Right. Like, hey, I know, I'm white, and I know it better than the other whites because I see what's
Right.
what happens. The blacks don't know what's good.
Exactly.
Like they just don't know. That's why we're telling their story.
Right.
And I'm sitting here like, I am the story. You're gonna tell my story for me. And so for me to come out of the ghetto, for me to come out of the hood, for me to come out of seeing people getting murdered in my face, I'm talking about flat out murder. Y'all, you
Oh,
have
wait a
no
minute.
idea
This
the
is
psychological effects these type of things can have on
it's
you.
not a moon
So
video. This isn't a
you
video
end
I
up
already
becoming
did.
numb. You see so much crime that you become numb. And so in a sense, I'm kind of thankful for that because a lot of stuff that's coming at me right now, I don't care. No white person can sit there and tell me my experience. And no white person can sit there and tell me that a black person cannot achieve anything they do not want to achieve. I know that y'all are trying to push. When I say y'all, I mean like this system, this narrative is trying to be pushed on kids, on children, on black people. That the reason why they cannot achieve anything is because of what is something that happened completely in the past. What about right now? What can you do right now? How does something that happened that many years ago is affecting you right now? And some of them try to come out and say things like, well, we want true history taught, and they always go to Christopher Columbus. He didn't discover America, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, okay, well, can we go beyond that? Can we go, how did the slaves get here? Let's talk about that. If you want to talk about real history, how did the slaves get here? Who sold the slaves? Do you really believe that 3 boats came to that big giant continent in Africa where all these black people is, and they just said,
What he's saying is exactly true. I totally agree with this guy. I don't know who he is yet. I gotta go look, but it's totally true. And I've got some really good ideas. I'm gonna add those when I start getting into Pastor Brooks's series. The part of the series that's gonna be to him right now. I'm still doing Candace and stuff again right now. But I'm gonna go back over to Pastor Brooks later, and I'm gonna talk a lot of black stuff that I really don't even have any right speaking, but nobody of color has come out, and I've called people out. I called out Brother Sanchez. I thought he would come out. There was the other guy. I didn't even know he was black until I called him out, and that was what the hell was his name now? Shit, something to do with the nanocarbons. Oh shit. I forget the name of his channel now. Matrix Wisdom. So Matrix Wisdom. Also, I'm assuming he was black. At least when in his words, when I was reading back from him, it sounded like he was a brother. I don't know for sure, but I'm pretty sure he is. So I called them two out, and who else was on the color charts? And then I'm not sure how much what's his face was to do with the cabal, but I know that a lot of his followers were black, which is what's his name now? It's late. It's like 3 in the morning. I'm still doing these videos. What's this one in the car? Yeah, this is in the car. I'm just gonna go ahead and. Oh, this is his series right here. Anyways, West Coast Cat series. Brian Austin Lambert. So there's certain Freemasons that are white, but for some reason, most of their following is black. At least in his situation, it's that way. So that's why I call it the cabal. I don't know for sure if it is. It must be, unless it just doesn't matter what color the followers are. As long as they don't know any of the secrets or whatever, then maybe that's it. But anyways, what he's talking about right now is also easy to prove, and it's true. Let me listen to a little bit more of this guy.
hey, let's go round them up. Even if they had guns and all Africans had spears and shoot guns, there is no way you're gonna be able to overtake that continent and just.
What I was thinking was about the ideas that I had. All right, so you have all these in Africa. We have a lot of border shit going on, a lot of wars going on right now in Africa. And one of the things that you notice is that they will show here and there on Fox News. I'll do something on it later. On Fox News, they show the slaves that are in Africa right now, today, right now, over there waiting. And it is a sad scene to see and all that kind of stuff. Now, again, with the fathers missing from the family units, especially black folks, and also tie in what I'm trying to explain to black people, that they're missed out on their chance to be on the world stage, right? Also, take into just think about them. You don't even have to agree with them or base anything on them. Just throw them through your brain and think about some of this shit for a little while, right? Anybody out there who might be listening who might be black. All right. The African American bioshell in the electrical system is freaking amazing when you learn about the how it's an electrical system. I don't know if it's any more amazing than the other ones because they all have different uses. All the colors, all the mineral colors on the color charts and on the shade charts, the yeah, shade shadows is what I usually call them. Even on all those, it's pretty amazing to watch when you're watching the system how this all works. Now, the black human, the color of the skin is really good for holding in the energy without releasing it. The second thing that I noticed on an energy, I'm just thinking about the electrical system right now. The nostrils, which I mentioned before, the large lungs. This is not for air. We've always been thinking about the bio end of things. We don't think about the electrical end of things. The heart is actually a voltage regulator. So if you have larger lungs that can process the energy that's coming in through these larger nostrils, right? Larger than other nationalities because they all have our own differences. So, soaking up energy that's around us. We know that the black people have the larger nostrils, where white people are going to grab it from the sun. So, we're going to get more solar energy from the white, which makes sense, seeing that whites are cutters. Back in the day when we were cutting and moving those stones, those 350-ton to 500-ton stones, then the whites were the cutters and the blacks were the movers. Now, when I say that, you're thinking of it in a human way, and I understand that, and I don't want to get into explaining it before we became, human bioshells. But anyways, back to my point of my story. Okay, so the palms of black people's hands and the bottoms of their feet, right? Because I've dated a lot of black people in my life. I always liked black girls. It's just I could not handle all of the racial tensions that were involved on both sides of the family. And it wasn't a racial hate, it was just a divide. I'll just say it was too stressful to even think about it every time we went to one or the other's party. But, anyways, back to this thing on their hands and their feet. Okay, it's better for to be grounded and it's better for transferring energy. That's why their hands are white and their bottom of their feet. Now, when I dated black girls, that's why it would make me think of that. When I dated them, you could actually feel this. You could actually feel this when they touched me and they were feeling me. I could feel it through their hands and through their feet if I was rubbing their feet or something like that. You could feel a difference in the energy from when I was touching them on other parts of their body. I didn't know it at the time. I didn't know that. Matter of fact, I probably would have had the original assumption that I did when I was a kid, and just figuring, oh, it's whiter on their palms because they're touching things with it all the time, which makes no sense. But that's what I would have thought when I was a kid. I would have figured, oh, because they're walking on their feet all the time. Well, that wouldn't make any sense either because their whole foot is in a shoe. So then, therefore, their whole foot would be white if that was the case. So there had to be some other reason. And there might be a scientific bullshit story for it. I'm only telling you, I'm skipping the bullshit story because I never even heard it. And I'm just telling you the real story. This is what it's about. It's about transferring the energy and being grounded. You're better grounded. That's the reason why the bottoms of your feet are white if you're a black person. I'm letting you know some of these tricks of the trade, things that I've noticed as I've been going along here. The rest of the electrical system of a black person. All right. The bodies are ideal for the electrical system. they're when I say this, you're going to think of a lot of fat black people, and you're going to say, "What the hell is he talking about?" Listen, the average black person, even though it's not cookie cutter, and you got to remember they're being programmed just same way that whites are, and blacks are being programmed the same way. So to eat a bunch of shit that you don't need, or to get over muscular, if you get overly muscular, you're also taking away from your electrical system, the way I explained in other videos. Whether fat or muscle, those are both part of the biosystem, and they're not. Neither one is helping out the electrical system, and the electrical system is very important. So again, for the most part, black people are born with these good, what we call genetics. It's more than that. It's more than that. It was the electrical system. The biosystem's having a hard time holding down the black man. Let's put it that way. The electrical system's too strong, and you really have to program them real hard, and you have to take away any chance they might have at seeing things. That's exactly what I'm showing you now. You're going to be able to see it better for many. There's so many things. I can't even get through them all in one video. I'm going to go through them all when I get over to Pastor Brooks to talk to him about a lot of this stuff. But the eyes, okay, we're sucking in sunlight, right? That's not where all the energy comes from, but I'm just saying we have an electromagnetic current that's coming through every which way at all times. We live in this electromagnetic current. We are part of it. That's the all one. The true creator sees everything as one. That's the energy we all use. We share that energy. Now, the bio shells also play a big part in how the energy is used, because depending on what color is what I go by to know what minerals, what heavy metals and minerals are going to do for each person, right? For each human shell. And if you're not eating and drinking, which we shouldn't be eating and drinking anything, we should be absorbing our water, our nutrients. If we're going to absorb water, it should have been due to its nutrients, due to its heavy metal and mineral makeup. And because we have no appreciation for the electrical system, then we automatically, fucking cameras, man. Then we automatically fuck ourselves anyways right from the get-go, because we're programmed to think on a bio scale, and we think everything bio, so we fuck it all up. So in other words, if you're black and you're eating a white man's diet, then you're not doing yourself any favors. And same thing vice versa. If you're yellow and eating a black man's diet, then you're not doing yourself any favors. We all have a proper heavy metal and mineral balance to be perfect electrical species, and we go against them. The programming that we received, the programming to think that when everything is a commodity, right? Like I was saying earlier. So all the food has become a commodity rather than being for nutrients and substance. Even our living arrangements, where we're all forced to live in these communities rather than just live on the land that's all around us, right? It all becomes public and government properties that we have to now pay for the rest of our lives in order to live anywhere on it. And you have to pay money to do these things. It's a real fucking story. Anyways, back to the black communities and the black people, humans. So there are so many things that make them ideal electrical species. Really good for reverse magnetism. Magnetism is where I first noticed it, but the reverse magnetism, for some reason, stands out more with me with the black heavy metals and minerals that are in the system. And I think I figured out why that is now too, but again, I don't have really time to get into it all. It has to do with them riding side by side. That made me see it that way. I'll show you the best I can at a later date. So, anyways, so this, what these guys are talking about now on Candace's show. I'm trying to get it back here.
There's still black people. So if you want to talk about real history, let's talk about how somebody look exactly like you sold you to those white people.
Right.
Well, no, we don't want to go there. Oh, no, we want to go there. You say you want to talk about the truth. We're going to talk about the truth. And when you do that, they instantly try to deflect and get on something else. Well, what makes you so what? No, we're not talking about it now. Can we stay on the subject? Right. And that's what they like to do. But to sit there and try to take a
divide. There is no divide and conquer. It's just divide, divide. And he's exactly right. That's exactly what's going on here. And it's just that nobody wants to really stand up and recognize this shit. So what I was starting to say before, and I cut myself off as usual, some of the ideas, just a few of them. So you have all these slaves in Africa, and they're not on drugs. They're not drugged up like our homeless are. You know, we have our homeless slaves, right? We just don't call them slaves. Candace is going to refuse to call them slaves because she thinks that we live in a free country. We do not live in a free country. Everything is programmed. The same way you watched Adolf Hitler program all his people in Germany to believe that what he was doing was right, right? Because it was, in their opinion, it was correct, and he was doing the right thing by them, and then it was the same thing. Total propaganda fuck show. How did he do it? With police and military, and turning the police into military, and blah blah blah. Same thing I'm telling you that Trump's going to come in and do. That we get everything so shitty and bad with one president, so that another president can come in and convince the other half of the population that no, he's doing good. All division, all division. It's unbelievable. So, anyways, you got all these slaves in Africa. So, what would be number one? What would be the problem of just buying them and marrying into them the same way that we do with a lot of other countries? In other words, you got mail order brides for a lot of different countries. I mean, the Philippines are big on mail order brides and stuff like that. No such thing as mail order husbands. Those are more like matching date sites and stuff like that. So what's to stop the black community from going and buying up all of them, buy up all the fucking slaves in Africa, right? Grab them all up and just give them their freedom, right? Give them the freedom. They don't seem, I don't know, I could be mistaken because I just thought about this the other day. I seen, big shelters of what they were calling African slaves that were in Africa. And it's supposedly in a lot of different areas of Africa too, because they were showing different areas and stuff like that. But now, aside from looking sad and hurt and abused, these slaves did not appear to be on drugs. They did not appear to look like alcoholics. They had energy in their eyes when they were looking at the camera and stuff as the camera was panning around the room. This was not what you think of when you think of homeless, crack addicted, heroin addicted Americans, whether and of any color, black or white or whatever, but it wasn't the same. So I thought to myself, well, why wouldn't we just grab them all up because it's not going to be expensive. They're not expensive on the and we have an excuse to not do this. I understand that I'm being partially sarcastic when I say this because there really should not be any hangups about it. There should be no reason, but we made laws and we created laws that outlaw slavery, which means that we're not allowed to even buy slaves from Africa anymore, right? So was that law created in order to stop us from doing exactly what I'm trying to explain to you? What would stop everybody from, all right, let's say in Chicago right now, Pastor Brooks goes out and he does some circulation of some flyers, and he does some investigation. He's got internet access, so he can go online and hook up with all the slave owners, whoever the slave sellers and owners are in Africa, right? Then he gets together with all the moms in his neighborhood, right? Starts with them. Let's say he's got 200 women who are all fatherless. They don't have anybody to help. Their father's been killed in a street gang or something happened to him, whatever. Maybe prison, maybe possibly prison too. They should be letting them out if they didn't do anything bad, though. You shouldn't be locking people up for doing, nothing, because we lock everybody up for every fucking thing. But then if they did something harmful, you don't want them around. Okay, I get it. But now, all the other ones that are not like that, I can't find a fucking video anywhere. Let's see what this one is. So, anyways, it just makes sense to me that why wouldn't we do that? But they changed the laws. So now with the laws that are out there, we're not allowed to do that because of that law. Now that's going to hurt people. That law now, if you say that you're not allowed to buy slaves, then that law would hurt the slaves, because if somebody has a good intention or a good idea to say, okay, well, in Africa, you got all these people that are possibly nice people, and they didn't do anything to hurt anybody, and they just in a bad situation, and the country's, a bunch of liars too, just like everybody else. So all these liars have convinced these people that they're worth nothing more than slaves. So we could teach them and show them, no, you're very valuable to this system and to the earth. And as a matter of fact, I'll do you one better. While you're here, some asshole on YouTube is just explained to me, and I'm trying to figure it out. But according to him, we have all the evidence we need to prove that we are ideal super race of electrical creatures that we have forgotten about and we don't even pay attention to. And we're missing our chance to be the leader on the world stage. We're not going to do it from Africa anymore. We're not going to be able to do it from any of these other countries because they're not as free as we are here in America. So we're going to get you to America. We're going to all talk about it. We're going to look into what this asshole's saying. And if there's anything to it, this is gonna change everything. This whole earth, because we're not gonna be the fucking douchebags that the white races are being while they're running. We're not gonna play that stupid. We're not gonna pretend to be so fucking dumb that we can't see what's right in front of us. We're not gonna do it that way. And I don't think they would. I don't think the black people, black humans, would. I think if they find out about what I'm explaining to them and they find out about this electrical system that I'm trying to show all of you, it seems to me that when I looked back in the past histories, they did things a lot better. They did things better than we are. It didn't start getting fucked up until whites started coming into the picture. Because even the Browns did better jobs than the whites. The Browns did better jobs. I think so. Again, I'm going by false history too, because I'm going by history that I'm learning from books and things like that. It's better to go by history of things that were left around. If I'm going by those 350 to 500 ton stones to look at a spot in history when we were doing one thing or another, that's one thing, because there's solid evidence there for me. The stones are there to see, feel, touch, examine, that kind of thing. To say, let's say, about the Spanish War and see the way they call it the Spanish Requisition, is that it? So the Spanish Requisition in those times, I don't really know about a lot of that stuff because it was all false history. So I don't know how much it was true. I just look back and say, okay, well, Spanish couldn't have been all that bad, even though they went into countries like China and supposedly tore the place apart. But I don't see how they tore it apart that bad, because Chinese people are still Chinese. They didn't turn into Filipinos until you got over to the Filipino Islands. So it was Spaniards, raping and pillaging the Chinese people to come up with a new culture, a new race, a different color, even another color and a little bit different, and then and divided it that way. But they were marrying in then to the families. They were not just having sex with them and leaving. They were actually marrying into them to change this culture. It's pretty cool. Same way that America's doing it. America is all mixed up. So what I was going to say about the the dating black girls over my lifetime, right? I had some really nice girlfriends and stuff like that, but it was a lot of hardships as far as the racial shit goes. Not as bad as it is today, but it was pretty bad. But I seen a reason for it when I was going to a picnic, let's say at a, I'll use exact examples. I just won't use her name, but I dated a Jamaican girl, and for probably about almost a year regular, and then we seen each other off and on a little bit here and there after that. But for that year, it was quite an experience for me. And this was not the first black girl I dated. It was just for a long time, and I went to a lot of family functions with each other. And when you do that, you get to see how both sides are going to play out. Now, the white side, they're all zombies. They're pretty stupid, and it didn't make me happy. I wasn't not happy with the way it was. But I was also a liberal douche back then and everything too. So I was doing kind of what this guy on Candace's show was explaining. I was overdoing it, and and not being understanding about the white side of it. But when I went on the black side of things, like remember going to a couple picnics and shit like that, and and you see how you're going to be treated. You get to see if they're going to be, wailing out racist things or anything like that. And it was actually the terminology was reversed, and I could never understand that. Like the N word, right? The N word, blacks took the N word and used it on themselves, claiming that they were going to take the word back from white people, right? So that was a big mistake. That was a huge mistake for many, many reasons. Now, Bill Cosby tried to straighten out the black communities on that and told them not, advised them not to do that. And he said a lot of shit that he probably shouldn't have said. But when he did say that, he got screwed years later for saying anything that he said. So, it's too bad because he was right. You should not have taken that N word because when you look up the definition of the N word, it means ignorant, right? So if the word ignorant is being said to each other on a regular basis, I don't care what color you are, it makes an impact. You're programming that person to think that they're ignorant just by using that N word. It's the same way I was saying in earlier videos about the Polak thing. If I went to one side of my family's for the holiday, then they would be talking about Polacks. Now, the Polish side of my family, the olders especially, did not want to be called Polacks. They looked at it as an insult. So if you were to say to them all the time, so you dumb fucking Polak or whatever, I'm adding the word dumb to it, and you might say, well, yeah, you're adding dumb to the word. But if you're saying to your children or your family, your brother, your whoever, and say, hey, you dumb fucking Polak, let's go. What's taking you so long, or whatever, and if it just keeps coming out of your mouth this way, then it makes an impact on how that person feels. Obviously, because we're products of our environment. You now just turn your environment into this bad situation just with words because you're programming them to think that they're fucking stupid, and they're not stupid. As a matter of fact, the black community not going along with the educational system, it tells me that they're, again, some of the smartest of all the races. The Asian communities go along with all the programming. They totally believe in the science, the math, right? Asians are so, it's a stereotype, I know, but it's definitely true. They're really good at studying and learning science and math and everything like that. It's all lies. So once you realize that it's all lies, you don't have to feel bad anymore about not learning anything at school. So when Pastor Brooks is talking about the illiteracy of the black population and stuff like that being higher, good for them because it was all ridiculous nonsense anyways. And if you go look at what I'm trying to show you guys in over the next couple hundred parts of this series, it's going to be a huge help to you. It's going to be a big help to your process as black human beings. And definitely the N word, get rid of it. It was a psyop. It was a CIA psyop. They brought it in with the rap music and all the killing and all that shit, so that everybody would be using that. And it was purposeful. They knew exactly what I'm telling you now. They knew that. In other words, the leaders of this puppet show that's going on, the ones that do not possess a mirror neuron, those ones, those people, they're the ones at the top of our chains ruling everything. And when they want to put these programs into play, they know how to do it. So they got the rap music going, and then every other word is the N word, and then they claim that they were taking the N word back. And no, man, you fucking were totally duped and tricked. But don't worry about it. You were programmed this way. It was not your fault. It was not your problem. Now come outside the box with Candace. You and Candace now, Pastor Brooks, can come outside the box. Look at what I'm trying to show you from outside the box. And once you see it, oh man, it's gonna be all fucking done. It will happen so fucking fast. It's gonna be unbelievable. Because that's all they need to know. That's all the people, the blacks, need to know, is that they can see it all. They were lied to. Because in other words, the confidence is low. Of course, they're going to be feeling the thing about illiteracy, right? There's really no such thing. There are many languages. If you have somebody in your family who's mentally retarded and they cannot speak in the spoken language and they cannot write in the written word, right? And then 15, 20 other family members all love this person and they love them, and no matter what, and they're going to try to be there for them. But one thing they won't do, they won't learn sign language. Now, this mentally retarded person knows sign language. He can actually communicate with sign language. So if the other 14 people in the family would have learned sign language, they could all talk to each other, to a mentally challenged person who cannot even talk. Don't even have language, cannot even do written words, but he knows sign language. Unreal, huh? So they can talk to you using the sign. Same thing I'm trying to get through to you about the illiteracy thing. It's really unnecessary. I'm saying you can definitely put together language and arithmetic and things like that to try to get ahead in our fake system. I'm not saying don't do any of it. I'm saying what we've been teaching for the last 50 years has all been shit. It's all to confuse and disrupt and divide. That's what I'm trying to say. Everything from the history, the math, you name it. I'll be back.